Hi there, welcome to Fascia Shift. My name's Holden Zalma, I'm the creator. I'd like to give you a little bit of background on who I am first, and then I'd give you a little bit more idea what Fascia Shift really is. I started out as an athletic trainer over at USC. I was the guy that ran on the football field when they hurt themselves. Followed around the baseball, basketball, swimming teams. Any injury that might have come by, we got to see. We were also the grunt workers, so we were working under every possible doctor known to man, trainer, PT, chiropractor, orthopedic, neurosurgeon, you name it. So I gained a whole lot of experience in that environment. I also got my degree in psychology and minored in physical therapy, then decided to do a stint in Oriental medicine just to confuse me. So with that knowledge, I created a company called MediTouch. It's based in Culver City, which is in California, and I've had that place for almost 22 years. My goal with MediTouch was to create a space where people could come not to just get relaxed, but actually to get better. What I found is when you start treating people as a whole, opposed to as a symptom, you can get much bigger results in a much shorter time. Western medicine's turned into this entity where everything's over and hyper-specialized. You go to the hand guy for your hand, you go to the elbow guy for your elbow, you go to the knee guy for your knee, but nobody ever actually talks to each other. At MediTouch, what we did is we created an environment where we looked at you as a whole, looked at everything that was going on with you, and created a plan or a program to get to the root or core issue of what was happening with you and correct it. What we found is when we did that, not only did the people get better, but they got better quickly, within 3 to 5 treatments instead of 3 to 5 months or 3 to 5 years. So I took that knowledge that I gained from working on roughly about 200,000 people and 20 some odd years of practice, and I created this program, which is called the Fascia Shift. Now the Fascia Shift is a technique that takes all that knowledge and all that experience and pulls it into one. A lot of different techniques out there are very hyper-focused, just like I was talking about, very specific. You do one thing on everybody. Fascia Shift doesn't work with that. It's not a one-trick pony. What it is it's a tool bag. So what I'm going to teach you is ways to look at a person and say, all right, what are the most specific and best things to do for this individual? Their emotional state, their physical state, their pain threshold, their history of injuries. We take all that into account and create a program to get them out of pain. So what are we going to cover in the class? We're going to start by going over what injuries and what conditions you're going to see. By doing that, I'm going to give you a better understanding of not only where they come from, but how does Western medicine treat it? How does Eastern medicine treat it? And what can you do for it? With that knowledge, then we can bring it to our clients. When you have those clients in front of you, I'm going to teach you how to see them in a different light. I'm going to tell you how they walk. We're going to watch how they walk. We're going to watch how they move, how they hold themselves. All these things are giant tells on what's actually happening in their body. So you're going to not only be able to understand different conditions, but you're going to be able to see them just by looking at somebody. So once you've diagnosed what's going on, or you have a pretty good concept of the problem at hand, how do you fix it? We're going to go step by step on different techniques for different problems. That's why fascia technique, or the fascia shift technique, is different. It's not one thing over and over and over again, because not everyone's the same. It's like putting a round peg in a square hole. Yeah, I'm going to keep trying to shove it in, but it's not necessarily going to work. What we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to create the specific peg for that specific hole and that specific problem. By doing that, your results are going to be off the charts. Where things would have taken months or years to correct, you're going to find change in 2 to 3 visits. The other thing we're going to cover in these classes are how to get business. Because part of it is, yeah, I want you to learn the techniques. I want you to learn how to correct the issues at hand and help your clientele. But if you don't have any clients to help, what good is it going to be? So there's a huge business aspect of it toward the end, where I teach you how to gain clients, how to retain them, how to create a practice that will support you for the rest of your life. This is what the Fascia Shift technique is, and this is what I would like you to experiment and try. Below is a link to a certain video. Put your email in there, and what we'll do is we'll send you a free video. That free video is going to be a technique. It's my free gift to you, because you know what? Who wants to buy something before they try? So this is your chance to give what we're doing a good try. Watch the video, try it on your clients, see what you think. Once you get a taste, I almost can guarantee that you want to learn more. And then that's when you can sign up for our class. So I can't wait to see you. Thank you for watching. Okay, what we're going to cover today is necks. All right, I get people coming in all the time, and I'm sure you do too, with range of motion issues, pain issues. So I'm going to give you a couple little tips on how to get rid of them. So first thing you want to do is check and see what the range is like. Okay, can she turn her head all the way one direction or all the way the other direction? No, she's got more range on her right than she does her left. It's a little sticky there. Also, you want to check ear to shoulder. Does it rotate? So a little sticky there and a lot more sticky here. So everything's kind of concentrated on our left side for right now. Now, the problems that can come from this, it could be anything from, all right, rigidity, pain, inability to move your head, but also headaches. And with Alex, she has a tendency for TMJ too. So this type of move will actually help all of those things at once. So our goal is to increase the range of motion within her neck. What's going on is her sternocleidomastoid, the traps, the stuff underneath her rear delt are all kind of locking up. And what that's doing is it's pulling everything this way, so it's compressing it. So what I'm going to show you how to do is a fascia technique where we unravel the tissue to let it release. Now, the best way I describe fascia is like if this is your muscle and this is the fascia, it encompasses it all. It encompasses everything. It's like a knit sweater that goes over the body. The problem is if you pull that string somewhere in the knit sweater, everything contorts to it. So the fascia doesn't only affect that one specific area, it affects the entire body. So for me moving something here, you can actually affect something someplace else. The other problem is, let's say this is the fascia, this is the muscle. If the muscle contorts, the fascia scars because it gets inflamed and then it becomes fibrous. So it locks it into that place. Now, let's say the muscle heals underneath, but it's stuck within that webbing. So what we want to do is we want to ravel that webbing so this can kind of go back to normal functionality. So that's what we're going to do today. So the first move is we're going to bring her into traction. So traction can be in a couple different ways. I can actually pull and traction the entire cervical spine. But for this experiment or this technique, what I want to show you is how to do one specific area. So we're going to do her sternocleidomastoid and also all the compensatory muscles that go all around her ear up into the temporalis. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to pick our area of attack. What do we want to release? Right now, I want to release all the fascia tissue from here, all the way up into her temporalis. This is not only going to help with the range of motion, but it's also going to help with TMJ, it's going to help with migraines, especially if you get occipital migraines. All the tissue up here gets real bound up. So this is how the technique works. You're going to cup underneath the neck, bring your thumb all the way underneath the ear. With the opposing hand, this part, you're going to compress and then rotate. Now what you're going to see is my anchor point is here. If my anchor point was higher, this is the only thing I'm going to release. The lower it is, the more I encompass all the surrounding muscles. So this is kind of a one-size-fits-all model because I want to encompass as much as I possibly can within one move so I don't have to keep her in that stretch for a super long time because it does get a little uncomfortable. So my thumb's hooked. My hand's going to compress. Now I'm going to rotate. So what I'm doing is I'm actually taking up all the slack. So if you can see, it actually gets a little more taut through this area, and they'll actually turn red. So what she's going to feel is almost like a burning sensation or a deep stretch sensation. I want her to feel it behind her ear. Do you feel it behind your ear, or is it more in your neck? Okay. So if it doesn't, what the problem is her chin is too far to the right. So if she's not getting enough behind her ear, all I have to do is rotate her chin a little bit more, and now it's more intense. Yes? Yes, okay. Now you're going to hold this for 90 seconds to 3 minutes, depending. What you want to feel is it actually starting to separate. It's going to feel like your hands are slipping. You can also say that to your clients. Hey, you know what? Does it feel like my hands are slipping a little bit? Well, it does. Well, it's not. That's actually you moving because the fascia is starting to unravel. Now, the unravel point is everything in between where my hands are. She's going to feel it behind her ear, up into her temporalis, all through the neck, and it's slowly going to separate. Now, after you hold this for a certain amount of time, what you're going to do is when you let go, you go really slow. It's almost like a rubber band. If I let go of the rubber band too quickly, it's going to snap. But if I slowly let go, that unravels and doesn't get that recoil, which is not too beneficial. So that amount of movement that you saw was not my hands that slipped, that's the fascia that had released. And one thing you'll notice is it turns a little bit red too. So wherever the adhesion is letting go, you get a histamine response, so it makes it red. Now, that's one piece. Let's say we want to do more into the pec, because a lot of times this type of motion will be happening where the pec is pulling down, the chin is pulling down. You want to release that same concept. So again, I'm going to take my opposing hand, I'm going to cup it underneath, and instead of being in that position, now I'm going to use the palm of my hand, I'm going to go right on the top of her chest, and I'm going to pull again. Okay, same concept we were doing before, but now we're releasing a different group and the top of the pec minor. Okay, same thing. 90 seconds to 2 minutes, hold, let it release. What you're looking for is it to kind of keep going. So if it keeps going and going and going, you're like, okay, I'm done. That's when you're finished. I'm going to slowly release just for demonstration purposes. But just from doing that for 2 seconds, what you'll notice is, see how far her neck already moves? And it takes a lot of that pressure off. Now, second thing we're going to go over is this was more of a passive movement. So you're locking in place, holding it there, letting the tissue do its job. This is more of an active movement. So I'm going to take a little bit of lotion. And the goal is, with this type of treatment for the neck, what you want to do is you want them to participate. If we can get her to activate the muscles on the inside while we're affecting the outside, we're getting like kind of a double kick. So what she's going to do is I'm going to anchor. I got my hand underneath. We're going to use my thumb. And she's going to rotate her head to the left. And as she rotates her head, I want her to raise her arm straight up. Okay, so turn and lift at the same time. Good. Now what I'm doing is I'm going against it as she goes the opposite direction. So we can go, this is actually toward. But if I want to reverse it, so go up again and turn. I can go through there. So if I want to start here, now turn. So now I'm going against the muscle and then reverse. So you're going to do this 5 to 10 times. Each progressive stroke is breaking up the tissue a little bit more. One more time. And relax. So you can use the same concept without the arm and just use it with the head rotation. So the last one I'm going to show you is I'm going to grip underneath, I'm going to hold in place, and she's going to turn her head all the way to the left. So I'm resisting against it and then all the way to the right. So we're cross-bridging against the whole tissue. Perfect. Now she's got range of motion all the way this way, all the way this way, and look at how far her head turns. Hi guys, what we're going to do today is work on serratus anterior. Serratus is an interesting muscle because what it does is it kind of pulls everything forward. So everybody you see that's kind of henching forward, their head's going forward, their shoulders rolling forward, and the old adage is, okay, well, we got to strengthen our back, strengthen our back, strengthen our back. But the problem is if everything's locked up forward, you can't. So what that can lead to is not only just that forward posture, but restriction in the shoulder. If it's rotated like this, her range is not going to be too great. It's going to actually stop because the capsule isn't sitting in the right position anymore. So what I'm going to show you is two quick little areas to fix two different dysfunctions in the shoulder. First one is going to be this type of rotation. So if they can't lift their arm above their head, which she can, this is when that's going to work. We're going to take the arm. First, we're going to do a fascia release. So if you've watched any of the other videos, there's going to be a passive side and an active side. This is the passive side. You're going to anchor right at the bottom of the lat. Grab at the elbow and pull and hold it. What you want it to do is encompass as much of the serratus as possible and pull. Sometimes I'm going to pull straight. If you want a little bit more torsion, I'm going to pull a little bit more toward her ear. What that's doing is it's releasing all the fascia tissue along that line, and it's going to allow her to raise her arm up. Problem is, you'll see pain a lot of times on the top of the shoulder, so they'll feel it up in here. So say every time I raise my arm up, oh yeah, it's hurting here, it's hurting here. Well, think about it this way. This pulls down like a pulley. So if this is so taut, then I can't raise my arm up. So you'll usually do this technique when they're getting pain on the top of their shoulder. So again, anchor, hold, 60 to 90 seconds, wait for it to release. The more tension you can put on the arm, more traction, the better it's going to work. It's not that you're pushing really hard, it's more just consistent. Okay? So you're going to move through that motion, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Okay? The next motion I want you to work on is this. So if they can't reach across their arm, rear delt is kicking in. So here's a really simple active motion to get rid of that. You're going to take a little bit of lotion. She's going to straighten her arm. You're going to anchor, and she's going to move across the body and then back. You can use your thumb. You can use your knuckles. Depends how sadistic you feel like being. And we're going to do 5 to 7 strokes. The active motion for this is very similar to this type of move, but it's a lot more tender. Be careful, don't go too deep because it's a hypersensitive area. She's going to go up and down, so you're going to raise your arm up, but this time we're going to actually go with the tissue. So you come all the way, touch me in the shoulder. There you go. And then down. Nice and slow and steady wins the race. You're breaking up all the tissue. Okay, that's your tip. Thanks for stopping by.